Not talk about presidency here because we have I'm a member of APC, and President Buhari have the first right of refusal in the party and any other thing. And moreover, I think the northern Nigeria need to complete their presidential tenure. So if you call me tomorrow to be president, I'll be very competent to run, but it's good. The northern Nigeria need to complete their presidential tenure. Unless they dash it to me, I will take. On a more serious note, you know I'm the Mayaki Kasina. This is my attire when I was titled, when I was turban, and occasionally I've been coming here with Yoruba cap and Igbo cap. You didn't ask me. Why is this one different?
What does it mean?
It means I'm the Mayaki Kasina. This is my I just decided on the Ramadan to celebrate my title as Mayaki Kasina. And I'm very proud that I'm Mayaki Kasina.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had on October 31 preferred a 34-count charge of fraud and money laundering against the former Abia State Governor, Orji Uzor Kalu, his former Commissioner for Finance, One Ude Udeogu.
Use this opportunity to welcome every Abian and non-Abians who would like to come to Abia to spend the Christmas period. I want to assure you, those who will come to Abia and stay throughout the period, of course, you see, there's some people, when you ask them, they say God is their godfather. When you have God as your godfather, that is good. But when you don't have a godfather who behaves like a godfather, if you believe in that, then you're in for trouble.
I don't know if you've heard this rumor. People still feel yourself, your wife, and your son are actually in control of the state. How would you react to that?
Well, you see, you must have detractors in government. And people who are saying this are the real detractors of this government.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to warmly welcome you to this place this evening. I have just been informed that the Court of Appeal sitting at Owerri has qualified my election as the duly elected governor of Abia State and ordered that one of my opponents at the election, Dr. Alex Oti, should be sworn in as the winner of the election. I was told by somebody in America that Nigeria is the second largest consumers of champagne, yet we cannot produce even the bottle-to-bottle champagne. I used to hear about Swedish bitters and all kinds of bitters, and I asked a simple question to my friend who is a chemist, and he said to me that a collection of bitter substances that are edible in a country constitute bitters of that country. My ambition is to, in the next few years, to put Gucci and disgrace Gucci and Louis Vuitton on the same stage with Aba people. Use these Aba people and disgrace them.
Government is equally aware of the recent proclamation of the Nigerian Army of Operation Python that stood within the southeast geopolitical region of Nigeria. The operation, as declared by the Army, is intended to check kidnapping, banditry, assassination, secessionist activity within the region, among other forms of criminal activity.
Governor of Abia State, Okezie Ikpeazu, is reaching out to the Nigerian army to help stop the resurgence of kidnapping. He met with the commander of the 14th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Lawrence Fejoku, to set this plan in motion.
We understand the relationship between economic growth, infrastructure development.
Give the state chairman from the 6 states 1 million per state for the big right now.
From 1960 have never produced a senator. I used my hand to strike out the name of the person who won before, and I said it is important for me to give that region a senator in 2007.
APC, the only problem is that APC as a drug is our model. And then, that was why we brought up Panadol. And if it's not Panadol, it's not the same thing as Panadol.
Akwa Ibom State Governor Godswill Akpabio has acknowledged the contributions of the military in internal security of the state. Governor Akpabio disclosed this when the General Officer Commanding Infantry Division of the Nigerian Army, Ishinawo, visited him in the government house, Uyo.
While the meeting between President Buhari and Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State centered on the activities of governance, the economy, and other.
See the way the president is welcoming all of us. He welcomes all of us as a father of the entire nation. It has nothing to do with partisanship. Yeah.
For 4 years, I became governor of Anambra State, and we did well. They have always been wishing anytime me, Dr. Chinwoke Mbadmiju, should come back to Anambra State and finish what he started. Obasanjo, he had grace for Obasanjo because he was given Minister of Defense. But me, nothing. That use and dump. That it is wrong, that it is bad. That's the chairman's and as I said here, it's
that there are more than 20 registered political parties. Why did you
Muslim
decided more than 20 registered political
more
parties?
Than
Yes.
Okay.
Why did you decided to join APC?
Oh, well, because if you look at graphic, PDP had come.
Well, they battled them, but with greed, law. You battled them as the people in the street would say, bumper to bumper. That's the only place. I won my election to the Senate because I did a bumper-to-bumper matching of...
Close monitoring.
Of course.
So why didn't you close monitor the Anambra elections? It was...
No, I'm telling you that this is scientifically designed to edge us out. And nobody, if you brought the president of Russia, the strong man of Russia here, Putin. There's nothing like an advantage over there because the party constitution is clear. It's clear and the electoral act is clear. The constitution is clear. The constitution is clear. What we're doing now, I have submitted my form. Anybody who wants can buy the form and submit. No. In a father, if you have many sons, you can say you have 4 or 5 sons. And some people say to you, we are going to a contest, a wrestling contest. And you say, this is the son I'm going to send, because I know when he gets there, you'll not win him.
Let's look at your party for a little bit. Your party, APGA, one governor not too long ago decamped. What is APGA looking like right now? Is it as strong as it used to be? Is it weaker? Elections are next year.
APGA is as strong as it was before the governor came. He was in transit. And APGA is like a philosophy. It's like you call it a movement of the people. They believe in it. They have a reason to be part of it. And again, when I talk about political party issues, people should be leadership, and those who are involved in should be people of consistent character. It's not, politics is not about running from one place to the other, and then no. Whatever you can do it from wherever you are and do it properly. APGA is strong, APGA is doing well, and I assure you that it will continue to do well. I'm not one of those fanatics that runs around.
So when you have a governor from your political party moving to another political party, don't you think you would have taken the party?
No. I said he was in transit.
No, he came into
he was a
office.
transit passenger.
But remember, we have some challenges. Economical challenge. You know, you need finance for logistic and campaign. Most think I have the answer because I've tested that seat. Remember I told you earlier that when I got to that seat, I made it clear that I was presenting myself as a mother. And as a mother, I don't have special appeal. Nothing appealed to me. And the period I was telling you was a period when all hands were on deck. Go to Anambra State. Ask them of them the JTR. They will show you the developments that occurred during that period.
We are giving about 15 gunboats for us to adequately take care of the waterways.
I came to see the president to thank him for keeping his word that the election in Anambra will be free, fair. You know, and that exactly was
how it went, and I'm very happy to come to report to him personally on the success that we achieved. Win 21/21 is not an easy task.
General Buratai thanked the governor especially for improvement in infrastructural facilities and equipment that enabled men of the Nigerian Army to perform optimally. He briefed the governor on the efforts of President Muhammadu Buhari in stamping out terrorists and ensure strict security in the country. Responding, Governor Obiano expressed happiness for the visit, which he said will consolidate the relationship between the Nigerian Army and the state government in the effort to ensure a safe and secure environment where business can.
I'm very, very delighted to receive him on behalf of the Anambra. We are very proud of him, and we told him that his second home should be Anambra State. It's also an opportunity for me to thank him immensely for what the Army has done for us.
General Julius Oni, among other officers of the college, said they were on a study tour of Anambra State to understand the industrial potentials of the state, should there be need to cite military industries in the state for local content development of military soft and hardware. Brigadier General Oni noted that their visits to Navy and other industrial centers in the state revealed that the state will play a pivotal role in providing the needed natural resources which can be tapped into by the military. Governor Willie Obiano expressed optimism that the natural resources which the state is endowed with can be of immense help to the military.
It's important that you also understand how we work here, so that will help you in your assessment of the state and the cost program.
Senior officers of the Nigerian Air Force are gathered at the office of the Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano, the Air Force and the Innocent Group to get the very best out of their partnership that will in turn benefit Anambra State and Nigeria. The signing of the MOU national standards.
Governor Mr. Willie Obiano is prioritizing the fight against crime with the procurement of operational vehicles for the Joint Security Task Force in the state. Gesture is to support the security agencies for the task of ridding Anambra State of criminals.
As you are aware, our first phase of the fight of driving criminals out of Anambra has been very successful. This to the very logical conclusion. I told the Joint Task Force, at the end of the day, I'm going to give them well over 200 vehicles. Result of what we have been doing.
At the Governor's Lodge, Amobia, 50 motorbikes with fully kitted and well-trained police riders become a spectacle to behold. The ceremony of the smart bikes to the Anambra State Commissioner of Police, the Governor also uses the opportunity to launch an armored personnel carrier donated to the Anambra State Police Command as a result of Governor Obiano's consistent appeal for more intervention in the state security.
It was an item that was negotiated. People don't know what really happened, so they can talk. But if I open my mouth, some of them will be ashamed. But one day, I'm writing my book.
So let Yaradua broker the deal for your amnesty?
Yes, otherwise they would have even killed me without Yaradua. Somebody used the word, the Oga at the top. We know that. I will reveal them at the appropriate time. I will reveal them.
Can you give us an idea, a description of who these people are? Don't mention him, just give us.
You know him. You know him. And he will be exposed one day. One day.
So your amnesty is in order. I mean your pardon is in order.
very, very, if I fulfill my own part of the bargain, then federal government should also do that.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arraigned former Bayelsa State Governor Timipre Silva before Justice Adamu Bello of the Federal High Court in Abuja on a 6-count charge of fraud, criminal conversion and conspiracy to commit crime to the tune of over 2 billion.
Governor decried the absence of federal government presence in the state and also the lack of support in building the state cargo airport.
Meanwhile, our resources were used to build all the airports, virtually all the airports in all major cities.
Governor Seriake Dixon's meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, held behind closed doors, centered on the security situation in Bayelsa State and the Niger Delta region, as well as other issues critical to national stability and development. Addressing newsmen, the Bayelsa State Governor expressed the belief that President Muhammadu Buhari means well for the country and deserves every support of Nigerians.
The need for community leaders, for governmental and political leaders to work together, support the work of the security agencies, and foster better understanding. I'm telling Nigerians, I'm telling Bayelsans to disregard all that propaganda. The president never had anything to do by way of negatively influencing the outcome of the last general elections in Bayelsa and also the outcome of the tribunal proceedings.
The highest proposal comes from Cross River State, where the governor, Professor Ben Ayade, presented an appropriation bill of 1.3 trillion naira, christened Budget of Kinetic Crystallization, to the State House of Assembly.
Budget that converts our deep vision, our infinite transposition into actualization and reality. The budget that prepares Cross River for the next 10 years. The budget that ceases to be annualized. The budget that is driven by a philosophy of depth. The budget that is driven by the spirit of the dream and not the spirit of the pocket.
Cross River State capital is reckoned as one of the most peaceful and crime-free states. Governor Ben Ayade is raising the level of security he wants for Cross River State with a donation of 160 vehicles to operatives. He believes this will further boost the Homeland Security Initiative, which comprises indigents and the security agencies.
Area that I should be going into, so I'm sure you'll excuse me.
Are you planning to appeal against your conviction?
Yes, I am, of course.
Has that decision been made?
I have made that decision. Personally, I have, yes. And I've instructed my solicitors.
So you're going to appeal against conviction, a conviction that you pleaded guilty, of course. How can you be appealing against it?
Again, I really don't want to discuss that.
Okay. So what's the next step for you?
To go home.
How soon do you think you'll leave?
Very soon, ASAP. As soon as practicable.
My name the funds for pension. We take pension very seriously. And I'll tell you my personal reason why I take pension. My parents, they worked until they became pensioners. And my mother, before she died, I had to take her to the office in Edo State every month to collect her pension. It was very small, but it was very important to her. She didn't need it for anything, but it was very important that at the end of the month, I had to drive her. Then I was a commissioner for her. I had to take her to the office. She would collect the money. Even though I was a commissioner, she would give me some, give my sister. She had a way of distributing the money. And for her, it was very important. My father too also had this thing. So it's important that we protect the money for pensioners, and it's important that we pay them at the appropriate time. And for us in Delta, it's something we take very seriously.
Things take a different turn. Both young and old from a community in Ughelli South troop out in their numbers, blocking the governor's convoy. They're not happy with the state of roads in their community and want immediate intervention.
Our major problem is just about 12-kilometer road leading from Besegaya down to the 4 communities behind this place. So we are suffering seriously.
They say my people don't take the list of what I talk say that the names of the road when they hear the communities when they for this place. What we will first do now to bring the Ministry of Works, they will come look the road. When they look the road, they will come costa. When they costa finish, now then we will plan for the road.
Presented to the Commissioner of Police, Zana Ibrahim.
What have they done for? Have you been able to move your...
The CP is grateful for the assistance, saying the resources will help his command improve its mobility.
I looked at this young man. I've not met him before. He said, "Are you Dr. Sam Egwu?" I said, "Yes." He said, "There's a message from God for you." I said, "Me? Message from God?" I thought that guy was really mad. A madman. But since he mentioned God, I said, "Okay, please, what's the message?" I said, "Let's say that I should come and inform you that you will be a governor of a state, Ebonyi State."
At that time, Ebonyi was not created.
You'll be a governor of a state called Ebonyi State. And that's the message from God. With me. And he said, "No, don't laugh. If it is from God, it will come to pass." I was like taken aback. I said, "Well," and we forgot everything about it. Until that day, Abacha announced
Ebonyi State. It registered.
That is how eventually I became the governor.
And the great men and women who came along with him. I am joined by my deputy governor, who has been introduced to you, the Honorable Speaker, Chairman of our party, and my commissioners, special advisors, personal assistants, to receive you. We are indeed very grateful to you, sir, with 2 rains in quick succession to wash down the cloud, the dust, so that you can breathe better. Welcome to Ebonyi State. Lebaran Maku is special. Whenever he speaks, from my little assessment of him, what he says because it is true.
The Ebonyi State governor said his administration came on board on a platform of peace and urged the people to always embrace peace for a united Nigeria.
Nigerians are not the same.
Ebonyi State, Martin Elechi yesterday spent many hours with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's interrogators to clear himself of allegations that he made away with millions of state funds during his 8-year tenure.
It's the Ebonyi State Governor's first visit to the former president after he assumed the mantle of leadership in the state. Governor Mai is impressed with the leadership role of the former president.
We are not interested in each party or the other party. We are interested in a man who has the welfare and interests of the nation at hand. And his directive to stop many accounts of the NPC, which I'm sure that you are glad of, because I have discussed that with you and you complained bitterly about the way NPC was going on.
His primary constituency, the people of Ebonyi State.
In Ebonyi State, the governor, Dave Umahi, is asking President Muhammadu Buhari to gun for another term in office come 2019. The governor of the PDP-controlled state told to State House correspondents during a visit to the presidential villa Abuja. He's also interested in contesting for the governorship seat of the state.
Well, any first-term governor would want to go for second tenure. And if what you wish yourself, you should be honest enough to wish another person the same. Since Mr. President is doing his first term, and I'm doing my first term, it's my wish to recontest. So I will as well wish Mr. President the same to recontest.
The courts now, the trial of the former governor of Enugu State, Chimaroke Nnamani, for alleged money laundering charges involving about 4.5 billion naira. At the last sitting of the court, presiding judge Justice Muhammad Yunusa was absent. The defense counsel told the court that both lawyers had then agreed that the case would come up for mention today. He requested for an adjournment on this basis. Although the prosecuting counsel objected to the adjournment, insisting that criminal cases are never adjourned for mention,
In the meeting, we received assurances, first from the Commissioner of Police, that the area commander of SARS was on ground immediately. I felt quite confident as governor. I most cordially welcome the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuko Yusuf Buratai, and esteemed members of his entourage to the government house in Obo. We are really honored that you will find time in your busy schedules to attend this gala night. We are aware that the primary purpose of your visit to Enugu State will be performed tomorrow. This event is not meant for speech making. It's rather designed to enable you and members of your entourage to sit back and enjoy a token of our hospitality and goodwill.
At the national salute, all officers are expected to salute. Thank you.
2017 Armed Forces Friendly Parade, formed out by officers and men of the Nigerian Army.
Mr. President or anybody in the presidency for that matter. There was no
Huh?
But I'm very happy that Mr. President has directed the Chief of Defense Staff, the IGP, to
Thank you very much. Their Grace, agent of change, and be able to say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You come here, or who brought you here, I believe that the best thing you can do is to listen to each and every one of us. All of us are coming under one umbrella. It is no more a situation where Your Grace, if the organizers cannot allow me to speak, I think I'll get down and go home.
It's not the organizers.
Please.
The organizers are with you here.
Jesu. Bikono ihe awu ihe anyị niile kwuru na mbido. Onye mana ya wu onye ọgba aghara nọ nga ya pụọ.
It is given that with universal basic education, every citizen of Imo State is expected to go to school free, primary school and secondary school. That the standard of education is falling today is not because people are paying school fees. When the standard of education was very high in the 40s, 50s and 60s, was education free? Be able to design ways of paying school fees. In tertiary education, there is no country in the world, apart from France, that is doing free tertiary education. Britain has increased their education fee by 100%. Australia started it and ended their own in 1988. Are you going to consider a man who has set up a program, built a foundation, to continue to lay the building block? Or are you going to start a fresh experiment with somebody you do not know? I just want to know whether the bell rang for me because my 10 minutes just started and somebody rang the bell. No. Even in developed countries, Malaysia, Indonesia and all that, one, there must be continuity. Two, the leader must have courage. Three, there must be perseverance. And I possess all that.
Of Imo State, Ikedio Hakim has been granted bail in the sum of 270 million naira by a federal high court in Abuja. Hakim, who has been prosecuted for a $2.29 million fraud allegedly perpetrated in 2008, is to also produce a surety resident in Abuja to guarantee the bail. Justice Adeni Ademola, in his ruling on the bail application Thursday, ordered the prosecuting agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, to submit the passport and other travel documents seized from the former governor to the Deputy Chief Registrar of the court. The EFCC had on Wednesday arraigned Hakim on 3 counts of fraud, including making cash payment of $2.29 million for property in Asokoro.
Bail because the court has said that that every accused is presumed innocent or proven guilty. That is the only comment I will make now. The rest will be next time.
So it is not true that we're poor.
That is why I propounded in my new theory what I call Rochanomics, Rocha's economic theory. Rochanomics. It's not enough to prepare for the next election. I should be keeping the money somewhere, waiting for my enemies to come when I will throw 1 billion against them. Somebody said to me, I said, do you know if Jesus Christ had lived more than 33 years, maybe we would have been a different story. What am I going to do as a governor? If my senior sister, who I love so much, comes to me that she wants to construct a 10-kilometer road, knowing too well that I've never seen her since we were children, to have ever been to a construction company. If I don't have the political will, the likelihood that I say go and do it and I will be further in the system will abound. This challenge in Nigeria and Africa is culture. We borrowed other people's culture without integration of our own culture in it. So that's why you have many spectators and only 22 players. In Nigeria, every other person is a spectator, only 22 players. That's why I hate football. Because football is only the game that you see 22 people playing, 11 here, 11 here. They keep playing. At the end of the match, you are clapping and shouting. They will go home with medals. The only instrument available to mankind to discover what God has given you is your culture. And your culture is a mirror with which people will see you. Is what I call decentralization of power. You know, when Christ decided to have 12 disciples, I never knew the meaning. No leader can walk without disciples. Population-wise. Kosovo is 2 million people. Most countries in Europe is 2 million, 1.7 million, 2.5 million, 3 million people. There are some nations that are 370,000. So, assuming Imo State is a country, does it mean that Imo State cannot have its own police? That's why we have power failure. Because there's over-centralization of power in the hands of one institution. There's need for leaders to systematically devolve power. In fact, if you commit an offense in Nigeria and steal 100,000 naira, the likelihood that you go to 24 years imprisonment is high than when you have taken 10 billion naira. The likelihood that you spend a day in prison is not there.
May you never take the anger of vengeance or the line of vengeance. Again, when we joined APC, and you cannot be a Senate president, you cannot be a speaker unless you have somebody who has been there before. I screamed and said, Ostis Nassau should go for Senate. Ngige should go for Senate. These two gentlemen, one of them should have been the Senate president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But our people, in their myopic thinking, in the infinitesimality of their brain, could not see the light. I whip that this kind of thing can be allowed to happen here. This kind of thing cannot happen in Kano. It could not happen in Sokoto, where people will come with guns to shoot innocent citizens. Don't find the army faulty. Don't accuse the police. Don't accuse the SSS.
The Imo State Governor, Rocha Sokorocha, has commended the Nigerian Armed Forces for their courage and commitment to win the war. This commendation at an interdenominational Thanksgiving service held in Owerri, the Imo State capital, to mark the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. Governor Okorocha urged the army to ensure it upholds the call for national unity while securing the nation's territories.
Is that he died to save his nation. Let me salute courageous soldiers for keeping the flag of this nation flying amidst difficulties. We appreciate you. I will love you. Keep on keeping it. Though all might not go well, but remember, we have a nation to protect. This nation shall one day rise to a height where nations will stare with amazement. Is this Nigeria?
The Chief of the Air Staff is in Imo State for the groundbreaking ceremony, which marks the commencement of the construction of the Nigerian Air Force Base in the state capital, Owerri. The base will accommodate the 211 Regiment Group, a unit under the Special Operations Command of the Nigerian Air Force. The Regiment Group is quartered at a facility provided by the state government. The Air Chief's meeting with the state governor provides him an opportunity to sound a warning to kidnappers as the Air Force increases its presence in the state. Announces that the Imo Owerri General Hospital is to be handed over to the Air Force to run.
I want to make a radical step because I don't believe in taking the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. I like getting things done and done.
Breaking ceremony held amid protests by members of the community who lay claims to the land. But the governor promised to compensate them.
I want to thank particularly the sons and daughters of Ngokbala, and particularly the village of this area, and the sons and daughters of Warrant, especially those whose land are here. I want to thank you for your understanding.
The new base is coming on board as part of the expansion of the Nigerian Air Force.
The hospital is well equipped. The Imo State University Hospital is perhaps busier than any since it was created. Said job creation. And I think we have created more jobs for the youth in Imo State than anywhere else. Today we have 25,000 youths gainfully employed under our Youth Must Work program. Though we're not paying full salary, by December we shall be eating the first set of chicken from our poultry after 15 years of non-production. The Imo shoe factory that has been abandoned, though we had some legal challenges there, is now working and is producing over 100,000 shoes for our children. With this kind of machinery, we will no longer import uniforms from outside because we now have factories that can produce both uniforms. Welfare, workers' welfare. I'm sorry, I thought the picture speaks louder than voice. Unfortunately, the studio is not able to provide pictures. Well, also, if you look at our workers, we have changed the entire orientation. Some of our teachers, now all our teachers are not civil servants. If you see a teacher or a civil servant in Imo State, you wonder whether that's a bank manager or a judge. So on the area of staff welfare, we thank God that within these 3 years, we have been able to touch some life. I'll move in there and finish that road. We have too much money in Imo State. We don't know what to do with the money.
Insinuations that you are likely to endorse your own in-law for 2019 governorship race. So, how true is that?
Let me ask you a question. What offense? The question is asking, assuming my in-law or my son or my daughter or my wife wants to run for election in Nigeria, because it's my in-law or my son, my daughter has committed an offense? If he has a better future in politics, he can engage in it. How myopic are we? We have lived in the myopic illusion after Okigwe, as if you are sharing national cake. It's challenged and quoted by any opposition or anybody in this country.
Okay, just for the purpose of letting your people know.
If that never happened, and you brought the sentiment of somebody, Imo would have been in darkness till now.
Short at the presidency come 2019.
Me? I've told you severally, I ran for president the first time, second time, third time. Let me put it clear that you may know, I want to be the president of this country.
Because I believe I have something in this my head that can fix this Nigeria in such a short time. But there's one man I saw and I salute, President Muhammad Buhari. That's only one man I've said, if he's running, I see my shot, my political sword. Place.
But consensus is part of democracy.
No, it shouldn't take place. If it's consensus, agreed by who? If all of us agree, then it's no longer, it's democratically done. It's no longer consensus.
In PDP, you were also once in ABGA, now in APC. There are some political calculations that you might also be leaving the APC sooner or later.
What does that mean?
Yeah, because of your penchant for changing parties.
Can I tell you? No, that's a very wrong thing. You must not understand the story behind every of the actions I've taken. Political party is only a vehicle. It's only a vehicle. Political party does not determine does not guarantee food on the table of the common man. But I also want to tell you that party is just a name. And if you are talking about party's manifesto, let me tell you, it's all copy and paste.
Southeast counterparts.
Fantastic. My brothers, I love them. Just as you must agree that we must come to a point where we disagree on party line.
You've been having running challenge over sustaining the security architecture in your state. Now, what are you doing to ensure that Imo State becomes a zero crime and insecurity zone?
You're completely wrong. Very wrong. If anything, Imo State has the best security network, one of the best in this country.
But you haven't been able to deal with the dreaded forest.
Crime rate in Imo State has reduced to its barest minimum. I thought the question you should have asked, how were we able to do it? How am I able to put this security thing in check? We're now having a wonderful, safe state.
Now listen.
Have we arrived at our El Dorado? Is Nigeria, we now have power, we now have machines all over, we now have industrialization. Why are some of you in UK, a man who is hungry will do anything to address hunger? Because if he doesn't eat, he will die. So if he takes a risk of robbing, he may likely die or he may not die. You know there's this joke in Nigeria about somebody walking into, was it President Babangida or Obasanjo, walking into a classroom, and then he was said, you children are future. And they are still in it today. So the child asked, is that our teacher lied to us? Or what? People, the Igbos are included. If you know the geography of Nigeria very well, from Port Harcourt you can go to you. From Port Harcourt you can go to you without going to Aba at all.
However, the documents presented by the minister did not add up, according to a member of the committee who insisted that the method of contract awards did not clearly stipulate the inclusion of the zone.
We're not going to do grammar or anything, just a better transportation. We're going to do railway transportation, we're going to do with aviation, we're going to do maritime, and that's how it's going to be. I would have loved to respond to that, but the person who is speaking lacks credibility, so why would I have to respond to that? Can you move to the second question? Because I think it's a necessary issue to discuss. Can I move to the next question?
Because when someone says that your party plans to rig an election, a lot of Nigerians will want to, of the president's
can you move to the
director of media, the president's organization, campaign organization.
Shehu, please, can you move to the next? That his election is not worth any blood of any Nigerian. You ask him why all those Nigerians are being killed. Are they Biafrans? The policeman that was killed in Okreka, is he from Biafra? Is he a Guinean? Is he a Chinese? And then he will come out. And the problem with us as a country is that we forget so soon. Today, they have when the APC was campaigning in Ogoni, they went there, government went there and took away my deputy chief press secretary. So what do you say to that? The chief press secretary is from Congo. What happened in 19? When did the Shagari government come to an end? So
in 1983.
And Buhari took over. It's the same thing that's happening now because Buhari has to come to the rescue.
Because they saw a photograph of $10,000 in my pocket, and somebody is screaming haywire on the internet, as if $10,000 is not my allowance as a governor.
See, we have to deal with corruption, and that's one of the key things that is.
No, Rudolph, you're misunderstanding him.
Okay.
When he says I'll deal with corruption the way I dealt with it in 1983, right?
Yes, 83 to 85.
Rudolph was born by then. Okay.
Yeah, but what is wrong with dealing with people who stole money in the past? I mean,
total distraction. The level of stealing in Nigeria now, if you start dealing with it, you won't finish in the next 50 years. And then you won't develop infrastructure. Nigerians don't want to know whether somebody has stolen money or not in the past. It simply means that the president now should please take charge. The way Buhari said, I will take charge. He said, I will lead in front. He didn't say I will lead from the rear. One of the greatest high points was his answer to the question of Sharia. And I thank the person who asked that question from the social media. And he said, off the cuff, he said, look, you know I don't like Sharia. I don't know why people are asking me a question on Sharia. However, he defined what Sharia was. And Sharia is limited by the Constitution to the level of the customary court of appeal, and is limited to marriages and domestic issues. And anybody who wants to upgrade Sharia to a national level must amend the Constitution and wish the person luck.
Pen manager, what is your take on Ekiti governor's attack on Buhari, including the fact that he said he was there for medical treatment and everything?
I wish him luck. I hope you heard those who wish Azikiwe dead. Nearly all of them died before Nand Azikiwe. I don't know whether you were born then. When some people carried the hoax that Nand Azikiwe was dead, and eventually they died before the man.
Basically said that you are the list of the people that should be criticizing him or the PDP.
Go to question number 2. Did Femi tell you that he had a mental case and was hospitalized in Ghana?
No, he didn't. I interviewed him. He didn't say that too.
Please ask him again that he had a mental case and was hospitalized in Ghana. So why should I, who have never had a mental case, respond to him? Move to number 2.
Rounding up. One of the constituencies that I have challenged to the APC is the Southeast. The Southeast, people of the Southeast. I know in the past you've made some statements about the Igbo. There was a statement where you said that you were Igbo. There was a place you said you are not Igbo, you are Ikwere. To now address it yourself, because we have you.
I made that comment. Owere and Aba. And I said, Aumo Igbo.
Why is that? Do you agree to that first? And why is that the case?
No comment, because I don't know when General Bangida said that. But even if he did, I wouldn't know. I'm a dancer. Only the speakers will look at my back and tell me how well I'm dancing or not.
Otua kachine kayede ogeniba otua kachine kayede
For a moment I might have been fooled. When I saw the governor slouching his seat, I said this man must be very exhausted. But for goodness sake, the man is now demonstrating the kind of energy, very deceptive indeed. But he is dancing and singing, so we'll listen to the sound and then we'll listen to the speech.
In the system, we came into office 2007, and as of 2009 going to 2010, I saw the politics internally, and then I called my friends. Look, I don't think it will be proper for me to continue to stay here. I have to leave. And so we decided, how do I do it? And I didn't know that the governor had decided in his succession plan that he was going to get rid of some certain people. That such people, including myself, are becoming too powerful in the state.
Of the so-called leadership, the character. Now today the whole world can see. There was no name, there was no allegation you did not live against me. There was no allegation. Today, the man who stood by him, today, the man who was doing all his job for him, his brain box. In fact, when I was in cabinet, I and Magnus were the engine room of his government. When we left, it collapsed. But it's to tell you the character of this same man who thinks that he is Alpha and Omega, who thinks that he must say everything and it must be done so, who thinks that this thing belongs to him, who thinks that I will make and want to bring. Look at what he was saying. He said the politics about this thing is him. Look at what the man will say. You had him there, that the politics about this thing is him. Look at such arrogance. Look at it. Look at the arrogance.
Your Excellency, we just need to take some of our comments now coming in.
Are there people who are planning something to be funny? That so that there's so much crisis in Nigeria. We must be careful. That could be strategies. That could be trap. Could be trap set. If they pay 25%, we'll get more money.
The governor is again calling for the restructuring of the current federal system of government.
There's no federalism. As far as Nigeria is concerned, the states are not seen as federating units. The states are seen as agencies or departments of federal government. If we don't want to practice federalism, let's come up to say we don't want to practice federalism. But if we must practice federalism, we must practice through federalism.
And with the commitment of the Rivers State government to improve security across the state, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Ezenwike has announced the donation of land to the Nigerian Army in Omuma local government area. Governor Wike also donated 20 operational vehicles to the army. The state government donated 10 Hilux vans and 10 buses to the new division.
Also procured, and which you are going to donate, which you are going to give out today, 10 Hilux vehicles and 10 buses.
He stated that the state government would construct a park for the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association in Port Harcourt. Added that the state government will assist the army to set up a standard command secondary school in Port Harcourt to promote education.
So the only school we will give you is the Army Command School. That I can assure you that you get it very, very activities as well.
Highlight of the event was the commissioning of the 6th Division Quarters Guard, 6th Division Monument by Governor Wike. The event also witnessed the flag off of the 6th Division and
Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, heads of security agencies, and the Governor of Rivers State are in the premises of the Federal Lighter Terminal on near Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The event is the launching of 8 Epenal boats donated by the Rivers State government to the Nigerian Navy in furtherance of its fight against criminality along the waterways.
So we should do everything humanly possible to support the security agencies to provide security for the state.
The Epenal boats are fitted with special security features, 12.7mm guns, and automatic grenade launchers.
can be found in Benue State, where wanton attacks on communities have left hundreds dead, properties destroyed, people Samuel Otom sleepless nights, canvassing for peaceful solutions everywhere he goes, violence to cease.
Now I'm even expecting the security agencies to have arrested those who killed these people. I'm here personally to find out, and I've already confirmed, none of the herdsmen are killed or were attacked. It was my people that were attacked. It's clear that this is from Ghana. This act is perpetrated by Ghana and his group, who constituted himself into a terror group and has been terrorizing the people. This is not the first time. He has been killing, killed civilian JTF, killed vigilante group, killed traditional rulers, killed his uncles, and has been killing all over the place.
In consoling families of those killed, there are still those who have been driven from their homes, whom the governor still has to keep calm.